On today's program, and soon on screen, you will learn about the new adventure action movie by Guy Ritchie called The Man from U.N.C.L.E. Recently, Almaty has hosted the exhibition in the subway devoted to the theaters of Almaty. See the story in Art Event. And in our program On the Frontline, we visited the Kazakh film studio, where there is preparation work for the photography of a large-scale historical serial about the Kazakh Khanat. Our hero of today's Master Has It is a young and talented pianist, Nurgul Nussipzhanova. Soon to be premiering on the big screen, the big action comedy by Guy Ritchie called The Man from U.N.C.L.E., based on the eponymous television series of the 1960s. It's the beginning of the 1960s, at the height of the Cold War. The film is about a CIA agent named Solo and the KGB worker, Khandyk. They have to put aside a war and come together for a joint mission to stop an international criminal organization that seeks to destabilize the fragile balance of forces by the proliferation of nuclear weapons and technology. The only lead into the duo is the daughter of a missing German scientist who is the key to penetrate the entire criminal organization. They need to find him and prevent the global catastrophe. The budget of the film is $75 million. We know that George Clooney and Tom Cruise had been invited to the role of Napoleon Solo, but they both refused, after which the role went to the British actor Henry Cavill. The main female role was given to Alicia Vikander. It also stars Elizabeth Debicki, Hugh Grant, and Jared Harris. Almaty has hosted an unusual exhibition devoted to the city theater. The uniqueness of the exhibition is due to the unusual and interesting place where it took place. This kind of exhibition for the first time was held in the subway station. Right as they exit the subway cars, townspeople and visitors were able to see amazing and interesting exhibits. The exhibition was conducted by the Kazakh State Academic Drama Theater, named after Mukhtar Awasif, the State Academic Russian Theater for Children and Young People, named after Natalia Sats, and the Puppet Theater Sesame. It should be noted that this exhibition was very interesting. I think that the theater will always exist. It always will be in demand. Make this exhibition in the subway, it's a really good idea, because so many people can see it, appraise it, and make some conclusions. You can get very close to the dummy with a suit and look at it. Rate all the fine details. Simply put, if all of this is on stage in the theater, you can't do it. But now you can learn everything in detail and at close range. I would really appreciate it if there would be much more events like this, that they would enjoy great success. The costumes are very beautiful, and I am impressed by such an abundance of colors. All of this looks good to the eyes. It was very pleasant for me to see and enjoy this exhibition that is held in the subway, since I often use the subway. Here you can see a lot of interesting things. People go to the theater with pleasure. And now I can see that a lot of young people now go to the theater. The exhibition consists of about 250 exhibits that include a variety of posters, brochures, unusual costumes, and more. The purpose of the event is to introduce subway passengers with interesting theatrical culture and history of the theater in Almaty, as well as let people to engage in theatrical life. The Almaty subway daily carries about 25,000 passengers who are able to see and get acquainted with the theatrical life of the city, as well as to touch the legendary props and stage design of the known city performers. I'm from Ukraine, and now I'm traveling in Almaty. I was just curious to go down into the subway just to see it, because I've read a lot of interesting things about them, that they're colorful and original. I'm really pleasantly surprised by this exhibition, which is dedicated to theaters. It's a very unusual format of exhibition. It takes place in a subway, which combines both the beautiful design of the station as well as ancient costumes. It's a very unusual and creative idea. Well done, Kazakhstan. On the territory of the studio Kazakh Film, there was casting for the scale historical television series under the working title Kazakh Khanat. The studio plans to present the viewers the first Kazakh film serial, unique to our country. Our crew has visited the heart of this epic event. This project was initiated by the head of state to celebrate the 550th anniversary of the Kazakh Khanat. It is an anniversary date, and we will try to make a picture of the relevant historical truth, not only for the holiday, but also to understand our past. What was the history of the formation of the Kazakh statehood? It is based on Ilyas Esenberlin's trilogy, Nomads. The first part of the trilogy is Diamond Sword. It talks about Jibek and Kire, and their companions, the young sultans Kasim and Burunduk. I think it will also be an interesting picture, with all these components of genres, things like love and intrigue, struggles for power, oaths of loyalty and betrayal, war, and all that is required in this genre. We are now looking for interesting faces to correspond to that time, with authenticity of characters. It is a great historical palette. The history of the formation of the Kazakh Khanat took place against the backdrop of the collapse of the Golden Horde, the Mongol Empire, the Timurid Empire, and the battles not only the Kazakhs took part in. There were also Nagai people, nomadic Uzbeks, Timurids, Mughals, Oirats, and now the Dzungars, and it is a huge palette of ethnic portraits of that era. Following the laws of the genre, of course, we will have a lot of fight scenes, local as well as epic battles. Firstly, I can tell you that this is a very important project. We will show the Kazakh Khanat, and I mean the beginning of our history, how we've achieved what we have now. We haven't been there, but we need to do it as if we've seen it with our own eyes, how to actually do it. You cannot go too far and combine modern and historical battle scenes. They must not be mixed. I think that the project will be great. We will do as much as possible in order to battle within this project and all the fight scenes to be the best, even during the existence of cinema. We want to make good fights and do cool tricks and fencing fights. We want to show the heroes in all their glory. All these tricks and performances, except for auto and motorcycle stunts, will take place here because it's a historical film. High falls from fortress walls, burning and fencing, horse tricks are all necessary. There will be a lot of tricks. Now I have an audition for the role of Rabia. She is one of the wives of Sheban Khan. Actually, I am a big fan of Rustem Abdrashov. Historical films have a bigger responsibility than modern films. It is an awesome thing and very interesting. Here we have very beautiful clothes and makeup, and the shooting process and the decorations are also very interesting. The film tells us about the period of the mid-15th century. Several tens of thousands of nomads have been united around the Sultan Kire and Janibek, the descendants of the Orda Yezhin, who decided to migrate from the Khan Abul Hayr. The sultans reached the border of Mogolistan, where their local ruler Esen Buga agreed to settle them down. The legendary wise man Asan Kagai, following nomadic traditions, recalls the events preceded by this event. I think we will work up to the end of this year without breaks. And in December, we will try to show you our first pilot project. The hero of today's program, Master Has It, is a young but very talented and successful pianist, Nurgul Nussipzhanova. Being a 23-year-old girl, Nurgul has reached considerable victories in music. I was born in a musical family. My dad is a singer and my mother is a pianist and a conductor. Since my childhood, I've been in this field, and my father has friends who are painters and musicians. Since my childhood, I attended a lot of concerts of my father, and I already knew that I would spend my life on stage. And when I was 3 or 4 years old, I wanted to be a pianist. Being a small child, the future pianist entered the musical school named after Kulyash Baisitova, where she had studied for 12 years, after which she continued her education at the conservatory named after Kurmangazi. From early childhood, she had participated in various competitions, including international ones, and often won major prizes. Music for me is already my life. It's not my hobby, it's not a job, it's my way of life. You feel free and you appropriate it. It's not about being comfortable. It's as if you're in an aquarium. You forget everything as you fly above the earth. It's a cool feeling. Of course, this doesn't always happen. When you work and do things, and when you get it, even 1 time out of 50, it's worth it to experience this once, to catch that feeling. Nurgul recognizes that connecting life with art has caused difficulties beginning in the school years. While she wanted to get together and play with her carefree peers, the future pianist devoted all of her free time to music, day after day, in order to improve her skills. Since my childhood, I knew that I did not want to work in the office. I wanted a bright and interesting life. I wanted to talk to people. I wanted to wear beautiful dresses and go on stage. All of these childhood dreams already identified my future. Our field is like that if you're on the bottom or at the top, and I want to reach the top. In 2012, Nurgul took first place in the prestigious musical competition in Paris. At the moment, she's also a soloist of the conservatory. She annually has recitals, gathering in large halls of real classical music lovers. Her repertoire includes works of the greatest composers such as Rachmaninoff, Tchaikovsky, Scriabin, Brahms, and others. To transfer the audience the feelings that the composer put into his work, the performer must experience it by himself 3 or 4 times deeper. I like the Russian composers more because they are very deep and dramatic. The Europeans, I think they're more aesthetics. They avoid this. Their work is very nice, but the Russians are more truthful and honest. It touches me deeply. It's not enough just to sit inside of 4 walls and go through training. Of course, your technique is a fundamental thing, but inspiration is everywhere, in the people around you, in everything. And if you make a synthesis and transmit it through yourself, Nurgul believes that her aspirations and her sincere love of music has led her to the largest and most prestigious music scene in the world. Nobody can ever take away my desire to play.